Why comparing yourself to others is destroying your happiness. The quiet trap of comparison. You wake up in the morning. You check your phone. You see someone traveling to a beautiful place. You see someone buying a new car. You see someone celebrating success. And slowly, quietly, a small thought enters your mind. Why is my life not like that? This is how comparison begins. Not with noise, but with a whisper. A small voice that tells you that you are behind. A small voice that tells you that others are ahead. At first, it feels harmless. You just look. You just notice. You just think for a moment. But comparison is like a seed. If you water it every day, it grows. Soon, it becomes something much bigger. It becomes a habit. And that habit slowly steals your happiness. Many people believe happiness comes from success. They believe happiness comes from having more than others, more money, more recognition, more achievements. But this idea creates a dangerous trap, because if happiness depends on being ahead of others, you will almost never feel satisfied. There will always be someone richer, someone smarter, someone faster, someone more successful, someone younger, someone more talented, someone with a better life story. If your happiness depends on being better than everyone else, you will spend your entire life chasing something that moves farther away every day. This is the comparison trap. Imagine two runners on a long road. The first runner looks forward. He focuses on the road. He watches his steps. He feels the wind. He listens to his breathing. He runs at his own pace. The second runner does something different. He keeps looking sideways. He checks where everyone else is. He worries when someone runs faster. He feels proud when someone runs slower. But because he keeps looking around, he loses his rhythm. He loses focus. And slowly, he becomes tired. Not because the road is hard, but because comparison drains his energy. Life works the same way. When you focus on your path, you move with peace. When you focus on other people's paths, you move with stress. And stress slowly destroys joy. The problem is that we learn comparison very early in life. When we are children, adults often ask questions like this. Why can't you study like your classmate? Look at your friend. He is better than you. Your cousin is already successful. Your neighbor's child earns more money. At first, these words seem small, but they plant an idea in the mind. The idea that our value depends on how we compare with others. So we grow up believing something dangerous. We believe life is a race where we must beat everyone. But here's the truth. Life is not a race. Life is a journey. And every journey has a different road. Some people start early. Some people start late. Some people walk slowly. Some people run fast. Some people travel through mountains. Some people travel through valleys. If two travelers take different roads, how can you compare their speed? It makes no sense, yet people do it every day. They compare their chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. They compare their struggle with someone else's success. They compare their reality with someone else's highlight. And this creates deep frustration. The modern world makes this problem even worse. In the past, people compared themselves only with neighbors or classmates. But today, through the internet, we compare ourselves with the entire world. You open social media, you see perfect photos, perfect smiles, perfect bodies, perfect houses, perfect relationships, perfect careers. But these images are not real life. They're moments, selected moments, edited moments, filtered moments. Imagine watching a movie that shows only the best scenes, only victories, only celebrations, only happy endings. If someone watched only those scenes, they might believe the hero never struggled. But the truth is different. Behind every success story is a long story of failure.
Behind every confident person are years of doubt. Behind every strong person are many painful days. But people rarely show those parts. They show the result, not the process. They show the mountaintop, not the climb. When you compare your life with someone else's highlight, you create an unfair battle. It is like comparing your everyday clothes with someone else's wedding outfit. Of course they look better. That does not mean your life is worse. It only means you're seeing different moments. Another danger of comparison is that it changes the way you see yourself. At first, you notice others. Then you begin to judge yourself. You start asking painful questions. Am I not good enough? Why am I so slow? Why is everyone ahead of me? These thoughts slowly damage confidence, and confidence is the foundation of growth.
When confidence becomes weak, courage becomes weak. When courage becomes weak, action becomes weak. And when action becomes weak, progress stops. So comparison does not just hurt feelings, it also stops growth. It makes people afraid to try, afraid to fail, afraid to start. Many dreams disappear this way, not because people lack talent, but because they believe they are already too late. But here's something important to understand. The idea of too late is often an illusion. History is full of people who started late, writers who published their first books at 40, artists who became famous at 50, entrepreneurs who built companies after many failures. Their success came not from comparing themselves with others, but from focusing on their own path. Think about a tree in a forest. One tree grows tall very quickly. Another tree grows slowly. A third tree grows wide instead of tall. If the slow tree compares itself with the fast tree, it might believe it is failing. But nature never compares trees. Nature allows each tree to grow in its own way, and each tree adds beauty to the forest. Human life is the same. Your path is unique. Your timing is unique. Your challenges are unique. Your strengths are unique. When you compare constantly, you forget this truth. You begin to believe that your life must follow someone else's timeline. But someone else's timeline was not designed for you. Your life is not meant to copy another story. Your life is meant to create a new one. And happiness begins when you understand this simple idea. You do not need to be ahead of everyone. You only need to keep moving forward. Slow progress is still progress. Small growth is still growth. Quiet improvement is still improvement. The problem with comparison is that it makes small progress feel invisible. If your friend runs 10 kilometers and you run 2 kilometers, comparison tells you that your effort means nothing. But without comparison, you see the truth. Yesterday, you ran 0 kilometers. Today, you ran 2. That is progress, real progress, meaningful progress, and meaningful progress builds real happiness. Because happiness does not come from beating others. Happiness comes from becoming better than you were yesterday. This idea is simple, but it can change your life. When you stop comparing yourself with others, something surprising happens. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to feel calmer. You begin to feel free. Free from the invisible race, free from the pressure to prove your worth, free from the constant fear of falling behind. And when that pressure disappears, something beautiful appears. Energy. Creative energy, learning energy, growth energy. Energy that was once wasted on comparison now becomes fuel for your own journey. This is the first step toward real happiness. Understanding that comparison is not helping you grow, it is quietly stealing your peace. And once you see this clearly, you can begin a new way of living, a way where your focus returns to the most important person in your life, yourself. Part 2. How comparison slowly destroys confidence. Comparison does not only steal happiness, it also slowly destroys confidence. Confidence is the quiet belief that you are capable. It is the inner voice that says,
I can try. Confidence does not mean you are perfect. Confidence simply means you believe you can grow. But comparison weakens this belief. When you constantly look at others, your mind begins to measure everything. You measure your success. You measure your appearance. You measure your intelligence. You measure your progress. And because there will always be someone better in some area, comparison creates a painful illusion, the illusion that you are not enough. Imagine a young musician learning to play the piano. At first, she enjoys every note. Her fingers move slowly. She makes mistakes, but she smiles because she is learning. Then one day, she watches a concert. She sees a professional pianist playing with incredible speed and beauty. The audience applauds. The music fills the room. Suddenly, the young musician feels small. She begins to think, "I will never play like that." Her joy disappears. Her practice becomes heavy. Her heart becomes doubtful. The piano did not change. Her ability did not disappear. Only her perspective changed. Comparison replaced curiosity, and curiosity is the engine of learning. When curiosity disappears, growth slows down. This happens in many areas of life. A student compares grades. An artist compares talent. A worker compares salary. A creator compares followers. A young person compares appearance, and slowly the mind becomes a judge. Every day it whispers, "Not good enough, too slow, too late, too weak." These whispers are dangerous because the brain believes what it hears repeatedly. If you repeat negative comparisons every day, the brain begins to treat them as truth. Over time, these thoughts form a belief system, and beliefs shape behavior. If you believe you are behind everyone else, you stop trying boldly. If you believe you are less talented, you avoid challenges. If you believe success belongs only to others, you lower your dreams. Comparison does not only measure life, it shrinks it. Another hidden effect of comparison is anxiety. Anxiety grows when people feel they must constantly prove themselves. When life becomes a competition, every moment feels like a test. You start worrying about questions like these. Am I doing enough? Am I successful enough? Do people respect me? Am I falling behind? These thoughts create pressure that never truly disappears. Because in a competition without a finish line, the race never ends. Even successful people feel this pressure. A person who earns a good salary may still feel poor if friends earn more. A person who achieves recognition may still feel invisible if others receive greater praise. Comparison changes the definition of success again and again. So satisfaction becomes temporary. You reach one goal. For a moment, you feel proud. Then comparison appears. Someone else is doing better, and suddenly your achievement feels smaller. This is why comparison creates a cycle of endless dissatisfaction. Another problem is that comparison makes people forget their strengths. Every person has unique abilities. Some people communicate well. Some people solve problems creatively. Some people listen deeply. Some people inspire others. Some people work with patience and discipline. But comparison often focuses on one area: money, status, fame, appearance. If someone measures life only through one lens, they miss the full picture. Imagine judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree. The fish will always fail. But the problem is not the fish. The problem is the measurement. Human beings are the same. Each person shines in different ways. But comparison encourages people to judge themselves by someone else's strengths. When this happens, confidence disappears. Imagine a garden filled with many kinds of flowers: a rose, a sunflower, a lotus, a daisy. Each flower grows differently. Each flower blooms at a different time. If the rose compares itself with the sunflower, it may feel small. If the lotus compares itself with the rose, it may feel strange. But the beauty of the garden exists because of variety, not similarity. Life becomes beautiful when people allow differences. Comparison tries to erase those differences. It tries to force everyone into the same definition of success. But real fulfillment comes from discovering your own nature, not copying another life. Another quiet danger of comparison is jealousy. Jealousy appears when someone else's success feels like your loss. You see someone achieve something good. Instead of feeling inspired, you feel bitter. This feeling is painful because it turns other people into enemies. But success is not a limited resource. Another person's success does not remove your opportunities. Life is not a small pie where only a few pieces exist. New possibilities appear every day. New industries, new ideas, new careers, new paths. History shows this clearly. There was a time when many modern jobs did not exist. Social media creators, app developers, digital artists, online educators. These opportunities appeared because someone created them. People who focus on growth often create new paths. People who focus on comparison usually stay stuck watching others. This is why comparison is not only emotionally harmful, it is also practically useless. Instead of helping you grow, it keeps your attention on someone else's story. And attention is the most valuable energy you have. Where attention goes, life grows. If your attention stays on your own learning, your skills improve. If your attention stays on your own discipline, your habits strengthen. If your attention stays on your own goals, your direction becomes clear. But if attention stays on other people's lives, your own life becomes blurry. Imagine holding a flashlight in a dark room. Where you point the light becomes visible. If you point the light at others, you see their progress. If you point the light at yourself, you see your path. You cannot fully illuminate both directions at the same time. This is why wise people choose carefully where they focus. They admire others without comparing. They learn from others without feeling inferior. They celebrate others without feeling threatened. This mindset changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why am I not like them?" they ask, "What can I learn from them?" The first question creates pain. The second question creates growth. Learning is powerful. Comparison is powerless. One expands possibility. The other reduces it. Think again about the young pianist. If she compares herself with the professional musician, she may quit. But if she studies the musician with curiosity, she may learn. She may ask, how did they practice? What habits helped them improve? What mistakes did they overcome? Curiosity turns comparison into inspiration. This transformation is important because humans naturally observe others. Observation itself is not harmful. The problem begins when observation becomes judgment. You can admire someone's success without attacking your own worth. You can appreciate someone's talent without denying your potential. The key difference is mindset. A growth mindset sees others as teachers. A comparison mindset sees others as threats. When you shift from threat to teacher, your world becomes larger. Every successful person becomes a source of learning. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes feedback. Confidence grows not because you are better than others. Confidence grows because you are improving yourself. Improvement is a powerful source of motivation. When people see their own progress, even small progress, they feel encouraged. A new skill learned, a habit repeated, a fear faced, a small goal completed. These moments build inner strength, and inner strength creates lasting happiness. Because happiness built on personal growth is stable. Happiness built on comparison is fragile. If someone else suddenly becomes more successful, comparison happiness disappears, but growth happiness remains, because it belongs to you. No one can take away your effort. No one can erase your learning. No one can remove the discipline you build. Your journey becomes your own treasure, a treasure made of experience. Experience cannot be copied. Experience cannot be stolen. Experience can only be lived. When people begin to understand this, comparison slowly loses its power. They start asking better questions. Instead of asking, who is ahead, they ask, how can I improve? Instead of asking, why am I behind, they ask, what step can I take today? Instead of asking, what do others think of me, they ask, am I proud of my effort? These questions change the direction of the mind. And when the direction changes, life changes. Confidence slowly returns. Peace slowly returns. Joy slowly returns. Because the mind is no longer trapped in a constant competition. Instead, it is focused on a meaningful journey. Your journey.
Part 3. How to break free from comparison and build real happiness. The good news is this: comparison is a habit, and every habit can change. You were not born comparing yourself to everyone. You learned it, and what is learned can be unlearned. But change does not happen overnight. It happens step by step. Small changes in thinking, small changes in attention, small changes in daily actions. Over time, these small changes create a powerful transformation. The first step is awareness. You must notice when comparison appears. Most people compare without realizing it. It happens automatically. You see someone successful, your mind instantly measures your life against theirs. This reaction feels natural, but once you become aware of it, something interesting happens. You create space, a small space between the thought and your reaction. In that space, you have a choice. You can follow the comparison, or you can redirect your attention. Imagine your mind as a road. Every time you think a thought, you walk down that road. If you walk the same road many times, the path becomes clear and easy. Comparison is one of those well-worn roads. But if you stop walking down that road, something changes. The path slowly disappears. New paths appear. Healthier paths, more peaceful paths. The second step is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful antidotes to comparison. Comparison focuses on what you do not have. Gratitude focuses on what you already have. When you compare your life with others, your mind sees lack. When you practice gratitude, your mind sees abundance. Try a simple exercise. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you were grateful for. They do not need to be big things. A good conversation, a quiet morning, a small improvement in your work, a moment of laughter, a lesson learned. These moments remind you that life already contains many gifts. The more you notice these gifts, the less power comparison has over you. The third step is to focus on progress instead of perfection. Many people compare themselves because they believe they must reach a perfect standard. But perfection is an illusion. No life is perfect. No person is perfect. Every successful person has flaws. Every confident person has doubts. Every strong person has weaknesses. Progress is the real goal. Progress means moving forward, even slowly. Progress means learning, even through mistakes. Progress means becoming a little better each day. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you focus only on the top, the journey feels overwhelming. But if you focus on the next step, the climb becomes manageable. Life works the same way. Your job is not to reach perfection tomorrow. Your job is to take the next step today. The fourth step is limiting unnecessary comparison triggers. Some environments encourage comparison. Social media can be one of them. When you scroll through endless images of success and beauty, your brain receives a distorted picture of reality. People show their highlights, rarely their struggles. If certain platforms or accounts make you feel constantly inadequate, it may help to reduce exposure.
This does not mean you must abandon technology. It simply means using it consciously. Follow people who inspire learning. Follow people who share real journeys. Unfollow sources that create pressure without meaning. Your mind deserves healthy input, just like your body deserves healthy food. The fifth step is defining your own values. Comparison becomes powerful when you measure life using someone else's definition of success. But success means different things to different people. For some, success means financial freedom. For others, success means creative expression. For others, success means meaningful relationships. For others, success means inner peace. There is no universal definition. When you define your own values, you create your own compass. And a compass gives direction. Without direction, people follow the crowd. With direction, people follow purpose. Ask yourself simple questions. What kind of person do I want to become? What values matter most to me? What kind of life feels meaningful to me? Your answers may not match someone else's answers, and that is perfectly fine. Individuality is not a weakness, it is a strength. The sixth step is celebrating small victories. Comparison makes achievements feel small, but small victories are the building blocks of great success. Completing a task, learning a new idea, practicing a skill, keeping a promise to yourself. These actions deserve recognition. When you celebrate small victories, you reinforce positive behavior. Your brain begins to associate effort with reward, and motivation grows naturally. Think of progress like planting seeds. Every small effort plants a seed. Some seeds grow quickly, some seeds grow slowly, but if you keep planting and caring for them, a garden eventually appears. The seventh step is practicing self-compassion. Many people speak to themselves more harshly than they would speak to a friend. Imagine a friend learning a new skill. If they make a mistake, you would likely encourage them. You might say, "It is okay. You are learning. Keep going." But when you make the same mistake, your inner voice might say something different. "You are terrible. You will never improve. Everyone else is better." This double standard damages confidence. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you offer others. It does not mean ignoring mistakes. It means learning from them without destroying your self-worth. Growth requires patience, and patience begins with kindness toward yourself. The eighth step is remembering that life is not a straight line. Many people imagine success as a smooth upward path, but real life looks different. Real life includes detours, unexpected challenges, moments of doubt, periods of slow progress. These experiences are not signs of failure. They are part of the journey. Some of the most valuable lessons appear during difficult moments. Resilience, adaptability, wisdom, empathy. These qualities develop through experience, not through perfection. The ninth step is focusing on contribution. When attention shifts from "how do I compare" to "how can I contribute," something powerful happens. Life becomes less about competition and more about meaning. Helping others, sharing knowledge, creating something useful, supporting a community. Contribution creates connection, and connection creates fulfillment. People who live with purpose often compare less because their energy flows outward. They are building something. They are serving something larger than themselves. The 10th and final step is embracing your unique journey. No two lives follow the same path. Even identical twins experience life differently. Different opportunities, different challenges, different choices. Your journey contains experiences that belong only to you. Moments of courage, moments of learning, moments of transformation. These moments shape your story, and your story does not need to compete with anyone else's. It only needs to be authentic. Imagine standing at the end of your life, looking back at the years you lived. What will matter most? Will it matter whether you earned more than others or achieved success earlier than others? Probably not. What will matter more are questions like these. Did I grow? Did I learn? Did I love? Did I try? Did I live according to my values? These questions create a deeper definition of success, a definition not controlled by comparison, but guided by personal truth. When people finally understand this, something changes inside them. The constant race slows down. The noise of comparison fades. The mind becomes quieter. And in that quiet space, happiness appears. Not loud happiness, not dramatic happiness, but a calm and steady happiness. The happiness of knowing you are walking your own path. The happiness of knowing you are growing. The happiness of knowing that your worth is not determined by someone else's progress. True happiness is not found by beating others. True happiness is found by becoming yourself. And the moment you stop comparing your life to others, you begin to see something beautiful. Your life was never meant to be a copy. It was meant to be a creation, a story that only you can write. And every day you live with intention becomes a new page in that story. A story of growth, a story of courage, a story of becoming. That story is enough, and you are enough.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Self-Study Every Day for more helpful lessons. Leave a comment and tell me what you want to learn next.